before you get to the... And my nephew that's redone that house, it's log. It's a 2-story log house. The Currys, 2 Currys built Frost, Sam and John. And we don't know which. The Will Buzzard house, before you go up the hill after you're leaving, it's just fallen down. What built that? It was built this house. That was the 2 first houses in Frost before the Civil War. And that one, Steve Whittle owns over there. He ought to fix that up really as an antique. He tore the big old log down here on the Dennis Dever place.
Yes.
It burned it. Peter Leitner built that.
And he's the original
pioneer of this area.
Do you know where Peter Leitner's homestead was?
What?
Do you know where Peter Leitner's homestead was?
Yes, right where they tore down the building.
Okay.
The old log building. And one of his nephews, great nephews, that is in the Veterans Hospital, an official in that hospital, wrote the history of him. And he called me and was going to come here, but never did get around to do it. But later he wrote and said that he was publishing the history, and he wanted to know if I knew where the Peter Leitner home was. I said, I live beside it. Is there people in the records somewhere? He said something about a cemetery. I said, there's no cemetery, but there's a couple of people buried down there. I don't know who they are.
Well, now, Jim Price, Dr. Jim, I've heard it said that he carried pills in his pocket, and sometimes if you'd go meet him on the street and you told him you had an illness, he would give you some of it.
In his vest pocket.
So that story's true?
That is true, and when the tannery, they used to say, when the tannery was open, he would make house calls and walk along the street. Hey, Doc, come in. He'd come in, look, whoever it was. How much? 50 cents, please. I say 50 cents, please. They give it to him. And when he came back, he had those vest pockets full of quarters and 50 cents. I've always heard it. Once in a while, it'd be $1 bill. Now, he told me when he went there, no high school, no nothing. He and Norman and a sister, Susan. He enrolled one that required 6 months, 2 years, $50 each year. He said, I paid the $50. They sold me a little old bag, stethoscope. And an hour later, they sent me on a house call.
So that was kind of what you saw, a cram course in medicine, right?
Well, that's, they didn't have any science.
Right.
There was no such. Osteopathic medicine was the first scientific medicine and gave the first scientific medical degree.
I didn't know that.
In 1892. And they are medical doctors. They're osteopathic medical doctors, just like you're, like I'm, say, a Presbyterian Christian, and you may be a Methodist Christian.
So the same thing, just a little different name.
They're the founder of osteopathic medicine was Andrew Taylor Still and his father. He was born in Wise County, Virginia. They were both preceptor-trained doctors, and they were both Methodist medical missionaries to the Indians. in Missouri and Kansas. He learned so much from the Indians and was, I guess, a Christian with it and was really trying to do something. He would see measles in a tribe, 8 or 10. 2 of them would take the measles and die. 2 or 3 would take the measles very bad and get better. Another 2 or 3 would take the measles and they wouldn't hardly be sick. They just break it. And 1 or 2 wouldn't take the measles. Why? He came up with the theory. There is a natural immunity. Your body prepares something that keeps you from having. So he came out with the theory that structural integrity and natural immunity is necessary if you expect good health. And any time anyone is sick, you do everything: rest, food, proper out of water, bowel, everything that would help.
And do their own
If
fight.
you have abnormalities, legs, back, neck, anything, try to straighten any structure, because the Indians permitted him to do autopsies. Now you would think they would.
No.
They wanted him to do that because they believed that there was an evil spirit in those kids that killed him. And if he could look in there, and he might be able to catch that evil spirit. He got to see inside so many, which according to the medical history or Bible history or whatever the Methodists kept, that those who had some structural problem outside had more problems inside.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
So he was outlawed because of that theory. Just like the man who discovered germs. His medical history said he lost his mind because nobody believed it. When he said bacteria causes this. And medical history gives this kind of story that old country doctors always kept a nice, good, sharp knife, pointed, sharp, everything. In his pocket, he meets someone alone, and boils were bad then, and abscess. Boil or abscess are there. Not what I do, out, wipes it off.
So he just lances it right there.
Wipes it off with his pants, lances that thing, wipes it off with his pants, put back in his pocket. He meets somebody else and tells something wrong and he needs his doctor. Does the same thing. That supposedly drove this bacteriologist crazy. According to medical history, yet he lost his mind.
On that.
Well, that's a little bit on the medical history. Dr. Jim said he just went 2 years. They didn't have any bodies to look at, no laboratories to fool with. They just talked to you and set you out on those calls. And Dr. Jim told me when I was consulting him, he was smart, old gentleman, I'll tell you. He said, you go to the school that has the most anatomy and the most physiology. All you have to learn is how the body is put together, made. And the second thing is how it works. you learned all the rest of it right on these people. You got to know how it's made, and you got to know how it works. He knew that. That old man knew more of that than I did, and he never saw a cadaver.
Now you said you were consultant to him, but did you do some practicing under him?
Did I what?
Did you practice under him? Did you do medical work under his supervision?
No. He was our family doctor for a while. We'd
okay.
go to Dr. Jim.
And you're 104 years old, so you learned. Apparently, he did something right.
I was the Dr. Jim back when I was in high school. He gave me, Norman gave me my typhoid fever shot when typhoid fever
was
vaccine come out.
Raging.
And smallpox. And I was about to tell you, their sister Susan went to the same place, graduated, was the first woman, I believe, either the first or second woman graduate, medical graduate in West Virginia. And she never come here and practiced. She became the physician for the women at the College of William and Mary, that's where she went to college.
Well, I've read a lot of her work. She wrote a lot for the Pocahontas Times. Susan Price did. She had a series called Along the Way.
I've never read it.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Well, Doc Norman, what did you know about him?
Well, Dr. Norman was younger, and Dr. Norman, the only thing is he had the same training with Dr. Jim. Dr. Norman was a different kind of person. He was a little more abrupt than Dr. Jim. And Dr. Norman served in World War I.
Mm-hmm.
And was classified as a major. He was a major. Dr. Jim did not.